Welcome. Let us work through 25 practice questions from Practice Test 2 for the Praxis Special Education. Core Knowledge and Applications, 53-54. For each one, pause the video and select the best answer. Then I will give you the correct answer. Want these questions as a free PDF? Click the link at the top of the description and we will send them straight to your inbox. Question 1. A 10-month-old watches her caregiver hide a rattle under a blanket and immediately lifts the blanket to retrieve it, something she would not do a few months earlier. This new ability demonstrates which developmental achievement? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C, object permanence. Searching for a hidden object shows the infant now understands that things continue to exist when out of sight, the sensoromotor stage achievement Piaget called object permanence. Conservation, the understanding that quantity survives changes in appearance, develops years later. Symbolic play involves using one object to stand for another, which emerges around age 2. Joint attention is the sharing of focus with another person, a social communication milestone rather than an understanding about hidden objects. Question 2. A preschool teacher notices that her 3-year-olds can run and climb confidently, but still struggle to cut with scissors and button their coats. Which principle of development explains this pattern? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C. Control emerges from the body's center outward toward the fingers. Proximodistal development means control emerges from the trunk outward toward the extremities, so children control arms and legs before wrists and fingers, which is why gross motor skills reliably precede fine motor skills. The two skill sets follow an ordered sequence rather than emerging together. Verbal ability does not reorder motor development. Rates vary across children, but the sequence itself is predictable enough to anchor age expectations. Question 3. Ren is a 4-year-old who has been evaluated after her parent raised concerns. Her hearing is normal, her play and motor skills are age-appropriate, and she follows directions well, but she speaks in 2-word phrases and cannot be understood by unfamiliar adults. Ren's profile is most consistent with which disability? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is D, a speech-language impairment. Age-appropriate functioning across domains with a specific deficit in expressive language and intelligibility is the profile of a speech or language impairment, the category covering articulation, fluency, voice, and language disorders. ASD would involve differences in social interaction and communication together, yet her play and direction following are typical. An intellectual disability would depress functioning across domains. Normal hearing test results rule out a hearing impairment as the explanation. Question 4. A school team is evaluating a student for a suspected intellectual disability. Beyond significantly below average intellectual functioning, which additional finding is required for the category to apply? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C, deficits in adaptive behavior. Intellectual disability is a two-pronged category. Significantly sub-average intellectual functioning must be accompanied by deficits in adaptive behavior, both originating during the developmental period. No specific neurological cause is required, and many cases have no identified etiology. Low achievement in specific academic areas describes learning disabilities rather than the adaptive prong. Regression is a warning sign in development, but is not part of this category's definition. Question 5. Ibrahim, a second grader with ADHD, qualifies for special education because chronic difficulty sustaining alertness interferes with his learning. Under which idea category is ADHD most commonly served? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is A, other health impairment. Other health impairment covers chronic or acute health conditions producing limited strength, vitality, or alertness that adversely affects education, and ADHD is the condition most frequently served under it. A specific learning disability requires a disorder in a basic psychological process producing unexpected academic underachievement. EBD requires qualifying emotional or behavioral characteristics over a long period. Developmental delay is an eligibility label for young children within state-set age limits, not a category for ADHD. Question 6. A student has significant hearing loss together with a visual impairment. and the combination creates communication needs so severe that programs designed for either impairment alone do not fit. Under idea, this student is served under which category? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C, deafblindness. Deafblindness is its own idea category for concomitant hearing and visual impairments whose combination causes needs that single sensory programs cannot meet, and it is explicitly excluded from the multiple disabilities category. Multiple disabilities covers other concomitant combinations, such as intellectual disability with orthopedic impairment. Other health impairment concerns strength, vitality, or alertness. Serving the student under hearing impairment alone would ignore the interaction that defines the need. Question 7. A third grader reads on grade level but cannot judge which of two single-digit numbers is larger without counting, struggles to estimate quantities, and makes place value errors that persist despite reteaching. These difficulties most specifically suggest which condition? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is D, dyscalculia. Persistent deficits in number sense, magnitude comparison, estimation, and place value despite instruction are the signature of dyscalculia, a specific learning disability in mathematics. Dysgraphia affects handwriting and written expression. A receptive language disorder would affect understanding of spoken language across subjects, while this student reads on grade level. Visual acuity problems would show across print tasks generally rather than selectively in quantity judgments. Question 8. Camila moved from Brazil 2 years ago. She chats easily with friends in English at recess, but her content area reading and writing remain far below grade level. Her teacher wonders if the gap signals a disability. Which understanding of language acquisition should inform the teacher's thinking? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is A. Conversational fluency develops years before academic language proficiency. Conversational fluency, BACS, typically develops within 1 to 3 years, while cognitive academic language proficiency, CLP, takes roughly 5 to 7. So strong playground English alongside weak academic English after 2 years is the expected acquisition pattern rather than evidence of a disability. Social fluency does not imply academic mastery. Assuming dyslexia from second language reading struggles skips the required comparison with true peers and native language data. Academic language develops after, not before, conversational language. Question 9. A screening committee reviews referral data showing that boys outnumber girls nearly 3 to 1 in ADHD referrals at their school. Research on gender differences in identification suggests which explanation deserves the committee's attention. Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is D. Girls more often show inattentive symptoms that draw fewer referrals. Girls with ADHD more often present with the quiet, inattentive profile rather than the hyperactive, externalizing behavior adults notice, so they are referred later or missed entirely, which inflates referral ratios beyond the true prevalence difference. ADHD does occur in girls at meaningful rates. Maturation differences do not immunize girls against the condition. Seeding patterns are not the documented mechanism. Symptom visibility is. Question 10. Tessa, a 6th grader with a specific learning disability in reading, has begun refusing to start assignments, complaining of stomachaches before English class, and calling herself stupid. Her teacher attributes the pattern to laziness, which interpretation better reflects what commonly co-occurs with learning disabilities. Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is A. Anxiety from years of struggle can drive avoidance. Internalizing conditions such as anxiety commonly co-occur with learning disabilities after years of struggle and avoidance. Somatic complaints and negative self-talk are its classroom signature, so the emotional load needs attention alongside the academics. Stomachaches tied to a specific class suggest anxiety rather than a new health category. Persistent self-labeling as stupid is a warning sign, not typical development, to ignore. Work refusal reflects distress about the demands, not evidence against the original identification. Question 11. The parents of a preschooler adjusted well to her cerebral palsy diagnosis 3 years ago. Now, during kindergarten registration, both parents become tearful and withdrawn in meetings. Which understanding of family adjustment best explains this change? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is B. Grief-like responses commonly resurface at major transitions. Family adjustment to a child's disability is a recurring process rather than a one-time event. Transitions such as school entry, adolescence, and exit from school commonly reactivate grief-like responses even in families who adapted well earlier. Denial is an early reaction to new information, which this is not. Renewed grief does not discredit the earlier adjustment. It is how adjustment works. Attributing the tears to registration procedures trivializes a well-documented family systems pattern. Question 12. A school serves several students exposed to significant adversity at home. According to resilience research, which factor most powerfully buffers children against the effects of toxic stress? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is B. A stable relationship with a supportive adult. The presence of at least one stable, committed relationship with a supportive adult is the most consistent protective factor in resilience research, because responsive relationships buffer the stress response itself. Academic rigor benefits learning, but does not buffer physiological stress. Facilities do not substitute for relationships. A diagnosis may organize services, yet labeling alone changes nothing about the child's daily experience of adversity. Question 13. A 15-year-old honor student takes a dangerous dare in front of classmates, though he later explains clearly why it was foolish. Which account of adolescent brain development best explains the mismatch between his reasoning and his behavior? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is D. The reward system matures ahead of prefrontal control. The limbic reward system reaches maturity years before the prefrontal cortex that governs impulse control and judgment. So adolescents can reason well when calm, yet act on reward and peer signals in the moment. The gap is developmental, not intellectual. His clear explanation afterward shows abstract reasoning is present. Preconventional morality describes younger children's punishment-based thinking. Sensory changes have nothing to do with the pattern. Question 14. According to Erickson, a 9-year-old who repeatedly fails classroom tasks without support is most at risk of developing which lasting outlook? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is B. A sense of inferiority. The school-age years present Erickson's industry versus inferiority conflict. Children build a sense of competence through mastered work, and repeated failure without support breeds a durable sense of inferiority. Trust versus mistrust belongs to infancy and caregiving consistency. Identity versus role confusion is the adolescent conflict. Initiative versus guilt is resolved in the preschool years around self-directed play and planning. Question 15. A teacher begins ignoring a student's attention-seeking humming, which classmates also stop reacting to. For 2 days, the humming grows louder and more frequent before it starts to fade. The temporary increase is best identified as which phenomenon? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is D. An extinction burst. When reinforcement is withheld from a previously reinforced behavior, the behavior typically intensifies briefly before declining, a pattern called an extinction burst. Teachers who abandon planned ignoring during the burst reinforce the louder version. Spontaneous recovery is a brief reappearance after extinction is complete. Negative reinforcement strengthens behavior by removing something aversive, which is not occurring. Stimulus generalization is responding similarly to similar stimuli, unrelated to this course of events. Question 16. A teacher wants a student who rarely speaks in class to eventually give a short oral report. She first praises him for answering yes or no questions, then for one-sentence answers, then for speaking to a partner, moving the criterion up as he succeeds. Which behavioral procedure is she using? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C. Shaping. Reinforcing successive approximations toward a target behavior, raising the criterion step by step, is shaping, the procedure for building behavior a student cannot yet perform in full. Extinction withholds reinforcement to reduce behavior. Discrimination training teaches responding under some conditions, but not others. Response cost removes earned reinforcers as a consequence for problem behavior, the opposite direction from this building process. Question 17. According to Bandura, The most powerful source of self-efficacy is mastery experience. Which teacher move applies this principle for a student who believes he cannot write? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C. Structuring a writing task he completes successfully. Self-efficacy grows most from mastery experiences. Authentic success on tasks the student perceives as genuinely difficult. So engineering a challenging task he actually completes is the direct application. Verbal persuasion is the weakest source and rings hollow against his experience. Models help mainly when the observer already sees the model as similar, and classmates' polished essays can widen the perceived gap. Removing writing removes the opportunity for the success that builds the belief. Question 18. Noah is capable of passing his science class and knows it, yet he does no homework, telling his teacher the class has nothing to do with his life. According to expectancy value theory, which component of motivation is missing? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C. The value he places on the task. Expectancy value theory holds that motivation is the product of expected success and task value. And when either term is zero, motivation is zero. Noah expects success, but sees no value. So the intervention is relevance, connecting the work to his interests and goals. Expectancy is intact by his own account. Self-regulation concerns managing effort once motivated. Grading knowledge affects strategy, not the value judgment he has already made. Question 19. A weekly folder that travels between a student's teacher and parent, keeping the adults in the child's two main settings coordinated, operates within which level of Bronfenbrenner's ecological model? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is B. The mesosystem. The mesosystem consists of the interactions between a child's microsystems, and homeschool communication is its textbook example. The folder links the two settings where the child directly lives and learns. The macrosystem is the broader culture, law, and values. The chronosystem captures change across time. The exosystem contains settings that affect the child indirectly, such as a parent's workplace, which the folder does not involve. Question 20. A teacher uses sticker rewards to establish a reluctant reader's daily reading habit. Once the habit is steady, which next step best protects the student's long-term motivation to read? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is A. Fading the stickers while linking books to his interests. Extrinsic rewards are a launch tool. Once the behavior is established, thinning the reinforcer while shifting to natural payoffs, books match to the student's interests, protects intrinsic motivation, and makes the habit self-sustaining. Doubling rewards deepens dependence on the artificial system. A bigger prize changes the currency without addressing the transition. Abrupt removal without natural reinforcement in place invites the behavior to collapse. Question 21. An IEP goal reads, given a calculator and a one-step word problem read aloud, Aiden will write the correct equation in 8 of 10 opportunities. Which part of this goal states the condition? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is B. The calculator with the problem read aloud. The condition describes the circumstances and materials under which the behavior will occur. Here the provided calculator and the read-aloud presentation. Writing the equation is the observable behavior. Aiden is the audience. The 8 of 10 standard is the degree, the criterion that defines success. Recognizing the 4 parts lets a teacher both write and critique measurable goals. Question 22. A new teacher drafts the objective, students will understand fractions. Her mentor says the objective cannot be measured. Which revision fixes the problem the mentor identified? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is B. Students will shade a model to show a given fraction in 4 of 5 items. The problem is the unobservable verb. 2 observers cannot agree on when understanding happened, so the fix is an observable behavior with a criterion, and shading a model to show a fraction in 4 of 5 items provides both. Appreciating is equally unobservable. Adding really and a deadline leaves the same verb in place. Knowing at a deeper level restates the original flaw with more words. Question 23. At the start of a lesson on ecosystems, a teacher displays a photograph of a local pond, asks students what they already know about it, and states what the class will be able to do by the end. This lesson element serves which primary purpose? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C, activating prior knowledge to set the purpose. The anticipatory set opens a lesson by activating relevant prior knowledge, engaging attention, and stating the purpose, which prepares students to connect new content to what they know. Mastery assessment of prior content is a different element with different tools. Guided practice comes after modeling, not at the opening. Nothing in the move differentiates for a particular group. It orients the whole class. Question 24. With 5 minutes left in a lesson on text features, a teacher asks students to tell a partner 2 text features they used today and how each one helped. Which lesson plan element is she implementing? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is C, closure. Closure ends the lesson by having students summarize or demonstrate what was learned, consolidating the objective in their own words before they leave. The partner exchange does exactly that. The anticipatory set opens rather than ends a lesson. Independent practice is extended application at high success rates, not a 2-minute recap. A summative assessment formally evaluates learning at the end of a unit or course. Question 25. A student's IEP states that in science he will be graded on 3 of the unit's 7 standards, selected by the team. This support is best classified as which of the following? Pause the video and select the best answer. The correct answer is D, a modification. Grading on a reduced set of standards changes what the student is expected to learn and what his grade represents, the defining feature of a modification. Accommodations change how a student accesses grade-level content while expectations stay intact. Universal design builds flexible options for the whole class in advance rather than altering one student's expectations. Related services are supportive services such as speech or occupational therapy, not grading changes. Great work! For all of the practice tests and the full study guide, head to TeacherPreps.com.